Welcome to a show unfiltered, unscripted, a show that's not immune to the facts. Your host, Mike Gardner.
Is this going to happen? Is there going to be a bill that is passed? And why do you think so? It's a question that many of you have, but coming from him, it had power. And I had an answer. Yes, it will be passed because the public insists upon it. The American people know these names have to go. These names are white supremacists that said terrible things about our country. This is like over 100 years after World War II. Some of these names were given to these bases, and you listen to who they are and what they said, and then you have the president make a case as to why a base should be named for them. He seems to be the only person left who doesn't get it. Can you imagine Jefferson Davis, Alexander Stevens, treason? They committed treason against the United States of America, and their statues are still here because their states put them here. This is a perfect time for us to move those statues, because other times people may think, oh, who cares? I never go there anyway. They all look alike to me. They're all these white men there. On the other hand, that's what I think. On the other hand, this might be, the timing might be just right. What we saw in Georgia the other day was shameful. It was either a disgrace of incompetence or a disgrace of intention to suppress the vote. So manipulation of the social media, obstacles to participation, suppression of the vote, all part of the Republican playbook. All part of the Republican playbook, because they're afraid of the voters. They're afraid of the vote. And we must inoculate against the actions that are predictable that they may take, and we got a picture of that in Georgia.
Turn her off. Turn her off. Disgraceful, disgraceful Nancy. You have a new name now, Nancy. You're not being known as Ice Cream Pelosi. You are now being described as Wackadoo Pelosi. You want to just destroy America's history? Oh yeah, those people were just put there because they're just some white men. And, you know, their states just put them up there. So let me tell you something. You're talking about Georgia, okay? For one of the states that has a lot of honor and integrity of their history, their state's history, and also the country's history as well, too. So you, as a leftist woman, crazy woman in my eyes, want to destroy America's history, want to basically erase it like it never existed. You want to take all the statues, all the Confederate statues off of national monument stands or parks or state parks for that matter. I don't think it can be done, Nancy. Because guess what, Nancy? Guess what? Some of these statues are protected under the constitutional rights. Yeah, Nancy. Try going to a Supreme Court and taking that to a Supreme Court and trying to have a national monument removed from a state park. Yeah. What are you going to have? People go over to Stone Mountain State Park, which is in the middle of the state, roughly about 20 to 25 minutes east of downtown Atlanta. Beautiful mountain, beautiful slate mountain. Anybody has the opportunity to visit that state park and seen all the historic Confederate soldiers, generals, and those people, for that matter, that are engraved and carved on the side of that mountain, that granite mountain, beautiful mountain, where thousands upon thousands of people a year visit to pay their respects and experience that honor there. You want to have that destroyed, Nancy? Seriously, what the hell is wrong with you? What the hell is wrong with anybody in this country that wants to erase country's history? With that being said, folks, welcome to today's show. I'm your host, Mike. Welcome to the Kitchen Angle, episode 19. As you can hear, I'm a little heated up here. Our country now going through another melting pot, so to speak. We're going through another debacle here in this country. First, like I said, I mean, how much more suffering does this country have to face? There is so much poison in this damn country. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. This is not the first merry-go-round we've seen where leftist groups and crazy liberals of the Democratic side want to remove Confederate monuments, statues, or any remnants of Southern history. Folks, let me just give you my side note of just who I am, your host here on the show. I happen to be a Yankee, okay? Okay, I happen to be a man that grew up north, okay? I grew up north in New Jersey. After high school, I left my family's house and decided to move into New York City. Lived in New York City from the age of 18. Moved out by the time I was 23. Decided to live down in Florida for the about 13, 14 years. Experienced Florida. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful state. Also a swing state, and has many, many cultures. Many, many cultures, okay? Once owned by beautiful Spain, if anybody wants to read the history upon Florida. Florida is considerably a young state, okay? Didn't join the Union until late, very, very late. Didn't join the country, so to speak. I got my words correct. Sorry about that, folks. Didn't join the country's states until late, very, very late into the 1700s. Okay? But with that being said, okay, I'm a native New Yorker / native Jersey boy, so to speak. Okay, and when I see people like these crazy liberals and crazy leftist corrupted politicians of the far left side, mainly Pelosi, I mean, the list goes on, folks. I mean, you get the memo, right? They want to remove history because it shows a racist and prejudiced remark. These men committed treason in the United States. They were for slavery. They were slave owners and such and such. Oh yeah, everybody always wants to say that slavery started in the United States, right? Oh, slavery started in the United States. No. Let's go back to school. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, sit down in your classroom. Class is now in session, right? You want to learn a history lesson? Here's a free history lesson for you folks out there. Slavery did not start in the United States. You could look at other states such as Africa, the entire country, and also a continent of Africa. Slavery started well before in Africa. Their own people enslaved their own people for cheap labor in their villages and farms and what have you to harvest the goods in that country, okay? Other countries, for that matter, engraved slavery. So slavery did not start in America. I'm getting tired of hearing it. Everybody always wants to blame the white man. The white man did this, the white man did that. I can tell you right now, at my age, I'm still young enough to still say this. I am never going to apologize for being white, okay? Because if you also look at the history, my own people, Europeans, early Europeans, and engraved slavery. Slavery has been around the world countless times, folks. Okay? It's like an assembly line. It's been around the world so many times, I can't count, and neither can historians count the amount of time that slavery has been engraved in different types of countries, different cultures, different timelines along the history of that matter. Okay? Like I said, ancient Europeans engraved slavery with their own people. You can look at kings and queens, ancient kings and queens in Great Britain and England and London and Northern Ireland, and I mean all over the European continent, okay, and those countries. They engraved it. They used their own people, okay? The punishments were very, very severe. I mean, if you were a European man living in ancient England, I don't know, let's say in the year 1200 through roughly about 1500, okay, AD. And you got caught stealing an apple or anything for that matter, you know, because, folks, many of these people were very, very poor, very, very poor. You got caught stealing an apple, your finger got taken off. Oh, yeah. Can you imagine that today? Oh, can you imagine that today? Can you imagine the punishments today in America? If somebody were to go commit theft and go into a store in Lower Manhattan or anywhere in the country for that matter, and I'm using Manhattan for example because Manhattan is turning into a third world. It really is. Oh, it really is. The governors and mayors in that state are if not corrupted, damn near crazy, lunatic. Fringe, so to speak. Yeah, they're unhinged in a way that can't even be explained. But let's just say somebody were to go to a store, okay, in Lower Manhattan to this day, commit theft, rob somebody, steal a loaf of bread, whatever, to feed their families. Can you imagine them using the same punishment that they did 300, 400, 500 years ago? Oh my God, it would be all over the news. Mainstream media would blow it all up. They just took a finger off of a black man because he stole the loaf of bread. Come on, people. We're going back to history now in this country. I know I went off a little subject here, course here. I gave a little free history lesson to people that are always doubting people and always say, oh, slavery started, racism, everything has started in America. America's to blame. The white man is to blame. Blah, 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 blah. White man came over here and stole all the Indian land. Come on. Tired of hearing it. Seriously. I mean, seriously. Is your life that boring where you just literally have to make one complaint after the next, after the next, after the next? I mean, seriously, folks. Seriously. I mean, to be honest with you, what is it going to do? What are you going to prove? There again, what are you going to send a message to this country or anybody listening to your message? What message are you sending? What is your point by trying to remove a country's history? Yes, whether it was bad history or good history. It's still history. You cannot erase history, folks. Seriously. What are these Democrats and these corrupted politicians and public figures out there going to understand? Demonstrators, whatever, going to understand that by erasing history, you're not making a point, you're not making a valuable yet intelligent point, for that matter. It's not going to prove a damn thing by removing a statue. Oh, that name has to go. That statue has to go because it shows white supremacy. Seriously? You want to argue with white supremacy? With all due respect to the African American community, brown, Latino, whatever, if it wasn't for the white European man, this country would cease to exist. And you can take that to the bank. Literally. Folks, I'll be right back after these words. Please don't go anywhere. Hey guys, what's going on? Mike from the show here. I just want to give thanks to all my new listeners. I just noticed that, the show is literally blowing up by proportion. Getting some new followers in on Facebook, some new likes, new subscribers on the on all different types of apps, especially the Anchor app. Seeing some new subscribers from Spotify, which is a big angle and supporter here to the show, the podcast. So I would like to give all my new thanks to all my new listeners out there. Thank you very much. And you can always tune in, usually about an hour. The show is plugged into all major podcast platforms and also on the Facebook page as well.
It has been suggested that we should rename as many as 10 of our legendary military bases, such as Fort Bragg in North Carolina, Fort Hood in Texas, right, Fort Benning in Georgia, and the list goes on. These monumental and very powerful bases have become part of a great American heritage and a history of winning, victory, and freedom. The United States of America trained and deployed our heroes here and won 2 world wars. Therefore, my administration will not even consider the renaming of these magnificent and fabled military installations. Our history as the greatest nation in the world will not be tampered with. Respect our military. Fort Bragg is known for the heroes within it that trained there, that deployed from there, and it's an insult to say to the men and women who left there the last thing they saw on American soil before going overseas, and in some cases losing their lives, to tell them that what they left was inherently a racist institution because of a name. That's unacceptable to the president, and rightfully so. And I would also note, where do you draw the line here? I'm told that no longer can you find on HBO Gone with the Wind because somehow that is now offensive. Where do you draw the line? Should George Washington and Thomas Jefferson and James Madison be erased from history? What about FDR and because of internment camps? Should he be erased from history, or Lyndon Johnson, who has a history of documented racist statements? And finally, what about people that are alleged by the media to be segregationists? NBC tells us Joe Biden didn't just compromise with segregationists, he fought for their causes in schools, experts say. CNN tells us letters from Joe Biden reveal how he sought support of segregationists in the fight against busing. Washington Post tells us that Biden's tough talk on 1970 schools desegregation plans could get him new scrutiny, and there are several more where that came.
The list goes on. The list goes on, folks. The list goes on. You can't erase history. You simply can't tamper with it. What are you going to tell the next generation? Well, there's going to be a lot of wells, right? A lot of wells. Seriously, you don't think the next generation of our children in schools, well, that's if the school boards decide to reopen the schools again, with this whole social distancing, right? This country is just, literally, it's being melted away. It really is. Simply like a candle. When you light a candle, what happens? The wax simply just goes down and down and down in the glass, right? And it melts away. That's what the country is doing, folks. It's being melted away by these crazy leftists and crazy, corrupted liberals and politicians and just public figures. And I mean, seriously, it's an insult to people that fought for this country. World War I, World War II, the Civil War, the making of this country in that war, okay? The Revolutionary War, Boston, the Tea Party. I mean, I can go on and on and on, folks. Are we simply, fast forwarding from 2 years ago? We were in the same mess 2 years ago, talking about the same crap 2 years ago. The statues have to come down and everything else. Oh boy. I mean, did you just see, what was it about, by the way, welcome Doug back to the show. Welcome back to the show, Doug. I mean, it's been hell. I had somebody that I knew fill in for you, and it's been hell. It's been hell. You know, you haven't been on the show in the last couple of episodes, but welcome back to the show. Welcome back. I got a round of applause here. Welcome back. The show, to be honest with you, man, the show sucked without you. But anyway, with that being said, Doug, did you see the these groups? I don't know who the hell it was. We got to pull it up here. Got to pull it. I know we don't have the limited equipment that we would normally have inside the studio, but we're outside the studio today. Another beautiful day today, folks. We're decided to do it on the screen porch. You can hear the beautiful birds. I just love this area. I love this area with the beautiful birds and the nature. Just background here on the show. It's just nice. My listeners can hear it, you know, wherever they're listening from. Starting to get listeners from all around the world. Belgium, Morocco, Spain, Italy, France, southern parts of Ireland, which is wonderful. You know, it's nice to have listeners here in the States, United States here, but it's also nice and it's pretty cool to see that, you know, you get listeners from other parts of the world that listen into the show. So much appreciation to you folks out there. But Doug, can we pull up a clip? We might have a clip here for you guys, but as we're pulling it up, there was a group of activists, lack of a better word. There's other words I can use for them, but this is somewhat of a family show here, so I'm going to try to keep it down here. Got a little heated up in the beginning of the show for those who are just joining in. I was just talking about earlier in the show about crazy, corrupted, unhinged, wackadoo Pelosi, just literally talking about the history of Confederacy in this country. She wants to remove and abolish it like it never existed. I mean, seriously, when you have a woman, a man, anybody for that matter, that wants to destroy, whether they're a political figure or a public figure, wants to destroy a country's history, you know what that's saying to you folks? That's saying that they want to destroy the history, okay, that was responsible for forming this country, okay? Because whether you want to admit it or not, sometimes there's bad history in countries, folks, that make a country great. Okay, you can look at other countries for that matter. You can look at the European countries. You can look at the Parliament. You know, their Parliament there in the European Union, right? You can look at that. You can look at the governments in Ireland. You can look at the governments in all different European countries. Okay, some good history, some bad history, and a lot of those people can agree. Okay, you can also look at history throughout the entire world. Okay, everyone has bad history, but sometimes, folks, it takes bad history to create a better future or a better tomorrow. I don't think anybody can disagree with that. So as we're pulling up the clip here, Doug's going to get it here in a minute. The history can slide either two ways. It could slide either a good way or a bad way. And when you have crazy Nancy Pelosi basically just literally just spilling out words You can never tell what she's saying. Half the time I think she's either heavily medicated or she's drunk. Probably one or the other, or probably the same, you know. Oh boy, not to laugh, but did you see the other day, jumping off course here, but I want my listeners to hear this one. I mean, you're gonna laugh too, Doug. The woman literally kneeling down. Pelosi kneeling down in respect of the of that historic silence. First of all, a woman of her age kneeling down on marble tile should not be done for more than a couple of minutes. She's down there for what, 10, 15 minutes? Her handlers are trying to get her up because the woman couldn't get up. She's kneeling down with the crystal and the cigar, on marble tile in a moment of silence with other Democrats. Only Democrats. I don't think there was any Republicans there. I just think there was just Democrats kneeling down on marble slate on the tile there. It was, and then she's trying to get up. She couldn't get up. I can't get up. I can't get up. Her handlers were trying to they had to get her up because she couldn't get up. A woman of her age, kneeling down. Come on, you can't be down on a marble tile for 10, 15 minutes like that. It's crazy. But yeah. So we're talking about the country's history. We're talking about everything today. Everything is just out of proportion. The coronavirus is still in effect. The COVID-19 social distancing. Thank God we didn't see the murder hornets, dropping from the skies, biting people and infecting their poison into people's veins, just like the mysterious Zika mosquito that came through. And, oh God, we had to hear that. Do you remember that? Remember that a few years ago? Was it a few years ago? I think it was back in 2000. Was it 2012? God, more than a few years ago, right? 8 years ago. Seemed like it was yesterday. And that's what it seems like. It seems like these pandemics were just yesterday. It seems like just yesterday we're hearing about Zika, right? And then it seems like the day before we're just hearing about Ebola. And then the day before that we're hearing about Y2K. All pandemics or just natural scares to the general public. That's all they are, folks, is a natural scare to the general public. And it's funny, too. It's kind of coincidence that it happens on election years, right? We seen Y2K in 2000, right? We seen, that's when the computers were going to crash. Then we seen Ebola, then we seen, which was another form of the swine flu and another form of coronavirus. Then we seen Zika, the poison mosquitoes biting you. I don't know how many times I got bitten by a mosquito. I tell everybody that. They laugh at me. Oh, you're still alive. Yeah, I'm still alive. What are you talking about? A mosquito bites you. Yeah, you shouldn't be around with mosquitoes. You take a citronella candle, or a spray. Boom, you're done, It's just common sense. People lack it, though. You'd be amazed. The most highly leveled people you think are the most intelligent, yet they are the most dumbfounded people. Believe everything that the media and the general public will tell them. Those are the most dumbfounded. The most underprivileged people that are not in high-powered positions, that are probably not privileged to nice, expensive cars, gorgeous yachts, large homes, are probably the most intelligent people with the highest intelligent level, too, as for that matter. The highest IQ, I was looking for the word, right? Those are the people that I think are the smartest. They use better common sense. They're just well-rounded people. Well-rounded people. But what can you do? What can you do? They just There's always going to be mayhem and chaos in this country. There's always going to be people that are not going to get their way and everything else. And that's just the same of it. I mean, now we're just slowly by slowly getting our states opened up. Slowly by slowly getting the states opened up. It seems like all the red states are opening up for that exception of the very, 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 very minimum blue states reopening. Mainly red states at 60-70% reopened. Some of them are higher. I just looked in the news that Universal Studios and the theme parks out there in Orlando, Florida are going to be reopening up, but minimized crowds. So what are they going to do? They're only going to let like 100 people in at a time? Can you imagine that? Disney World? Can you imagine that? Going to Disney World and only allowing 100 people into that park, where that park usually holds millions upon, but it's not millions, but over-exaggerating, but thousands of people, right? But they're only going to probably let like 100 people in, right? 100 people in. And then what are they going to have? Another 100 people by the front gates? Oh, sorry, folks, you can't come in. Until these 100 people have their 8 hours of fun, right? I don't know how the hell they're going to be able to do that. I mean, I don't, and then the same thing goes with the other theme parks there in the area. I mean, and then you have the part, certain parks here in Georgia. I mean, you got the Atlanta Zoo just opened up, about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago? I mean, they're probably doing the same thing. I mean, and then restaurants are taking 25 to 30% out of their restaurant, their tables. They're flipping the tables upside down, and they're only allowing so many people in a restaurant. Normally a restaurant would hold anywhere between, 100, maybe 200 people at some 5-star restaurants, right? Some big old restaurants. Only 30 people, maybe. That's just terrible. It really is. It's terrible. Fast food joints, you can't even sit down and have a burger at a McDonald's. Oh, it's only drive-through. Only drive-through only. Terrible, terrible. Some restaurants, but don't get me wrong, some restaurants are opened up, I just mentioned. You can sit down, enjoy a meal or a cup of coffee. Some restaurants are still closed, but with only drive-through service. It's terrible. The country is, like I said, it's in a melting pot. And politicians really need to look at the damage of what's been done. Because if you say that there's no damage in this country from this COVID-19, this social distancing, which is nothing but a camouflage of modern day socialism, because that's all social distance is socialism. It's an undercover for socialism. That's what it is. We've been suffering socialism in this country since the beginning of this year. And I'm telling you, it's putting a damage and it's putting a damper on this country. It really is. It really is. With that being said, folks, we're gonna take another break. When I get back, I want to talk about more of these racism and on how the impacts of this. It's impacting. Like I said, I got into the statues and everything else, and I'm going to talk more about that. But right after these short words, I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere, guys.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Yeah, so we're here because as much as we understand the protests and everything that's going on, defacing a national icon is that one step too far. Yes, make the signs, make the protests, but leave everything else out of it, because it's just more work for the police, it's more work for everyone else, and it's, at the end of the day, you've done it, you have to pay for it. So we're just giving our bit back to everyone else as much as we can.
Protest as much as you like, protest about whatever you want, that's absolutely fine, but there are ways that you don't do it, desecrating a war memorial, a statue, things like that. It doesn't help you, people just turn against you. It's very disrespectful. And to someone like Churchill, who fought, the biggest racist ever, I think it's extremely bad. So the least I can do, someone who's done so much for me, for my parents, my grandparents, for everyone, for this country, is come and take off some of the graffiti.
All right, folks, you just heard some members actually doing the right thing. Welcome back to the show, first and foremost. Like I said, you just heard a clip of some members basically from the public there of, I don't know where the hell that was, to be honest with you. Where the heck was it? I'm trying to, the location there. Basically, doesn't say. But anyway, basically some members there of the public cleaning graffiti from Churchill's statue after a group of Black Lives Matter protests. Yeah, bunch of thugs. I said this once before. They're not peaceful people. They're not little groups of people. They're very large groups of people that have nothing on their minds than just destruction and just causing chaos in this country. They're a domestic terror group, and they need to be stopped just as much as that other crazy group of Antifa. Okay, punks and thugs. And I'm glad to see these they seem to be Englishmen cleaning off it doesn't matter what heritage they are, but they seem to be very, very well-endowed young men cleaning graffiti off of Churchill's statue, which, if anybody knows who Churchill is, Churchill was one that fought the biggest racist ever, and I think it's extremely bad, especially for somebody like Churchill, that's obviously not here with us anymore, but if he was still alive, just to see this monarchy going on in this country would be devastating, not only to his integrity of a human person, but just anybody that believes in that, and believes in the American heritage. Like I said, whether it was good history or bad history, it's still part of American heritage, and you can't erase history. One of these idiots going to understand this. Also, members of the public have told the LBC why they're cleaning graffiti off of a statue of Winston Churchill this morning. The LBC is a home of live debate around news and current affairs. Basically, these are members that are constantly doing the right thing. It's such a travesty to see this going on, and this is going on all over the place. We see we're now seeing, what was it, a week ago, a Virginia governor, Ralph Northam, orders the removal of a Robert E. Lee statue in Virginia. Oh, you got to hear this. This is terrible. It really is. It's terrible. It really is. To basically to have the statues in history just destroyed. It's on me. It really is. And for anybody that's with this, that's in support of this, you're tampering with American history. Do you not understand that? How much more suffering does this country have to go through? Seriously.
Public policies have kept this reality in place for a long time. That's why we've been working so hard to reform criminal justice laws, expand healthcare access, make it easier to vote, and so much more. But symbols matter too, and Virginia has never been willing to deal with symbols. Until now. Today, Virginia is home to more Confederate commemorations than any other state. That's true because generations ago, Virginia made the decision not to celebrate unity, but to honor the cause of division.
Wait, stop right there. Stop right there. They were in support of not honoring unity, But then again, he's okay for supporting criminal justice reform, right? Oh yeah, just slap on the wrist of the criminals. Yeah, send them out on the streets so they can commit more crimes. Oh, those Antifa members, yeah, we need them back on the streets so they can support their message. Oh yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, criminal reform, that's okay. Because we're just running out. We're running out of room. Oh boy, what the hell is going on with this country? I'm telling you.
Around Virginia and our capital city. The statue of Robert E. Lee is the most prominent. Lee himself didn't want a monument, but Virginia built one anyway.
Doesn't matter if he wanted a monument. It's honoring the man.
I think it is wiser not to keep open the sores of war, but to follow the example of those nations who endeavored to obliterate the marks of civil strife, to commit to oblivion the feelings engendered.
What is wrong with this country? I'm telling you. I mean, seriously, what is wrong with this country? So you just heard Virginia Governor Ralph Northam said this was just, earlier, what was this, June 4th? This was last week, right? Last week. Pledging the state will no longer preach a false version of history. Oh, it's a false version of history, right? It happened, but it's just a false version of it. So you're trying to tell me, and you're trying to tell the rest of the country, the rest of the citizens of your state, the whole world, that version of America, it happened, but it's just a false version of it. Oh, and coming from a governor, a Democratic governor, you should know the true version of our history, right? Ah, boy. I have no idea the outcome. I don't know what the outcome of this country is going to be. The more stress, the more suffering that this country has to endure. I don't know how much more it can take. Literally, this country's been on life support for the last, I don't know how many years. More years than probably any of us can count. Literally on a life support. I mean, literally, this country is in ICU. Literally, ICU, life support. Where you have these corrupted leadership in this country. Removing statues like they don't mean a damn thing to anybody. Robert E. Lee didn't want a statue. How do you know? Were you around there a couple hundred years ago? Northam, were you there, Governor? Were you there? Were you there during the Civil War? Were you there during America's time of struggle, time of unity? The country was uniting for the first time after countless years of bloodshed through this war. How the hell can you sit there and explain to the American public all your false narratives on a country's history, and then say in I'm going to call it a mockery on your behalf, sir? Oh, yeah, Robert E. Lee didn't even want a monument. The state just put it there in honor. Well, what do you think the state put it there for? Not a photograph opportunity for people to go, oh, let me take a selfie in front of Robert E. Lee's statue and then post it on Instagram and Facebook and all this other crap. It wasn't put there for that purpose. It was put there to honor an American, whether he had false narratives, a false vision, views, opinions, it doesn't matter. What matters is it's a statue that represents this country's history. History. Oh my God, I'm getting tired of. Like I said, I don't know how much more abuse this country has to endure. Folks, I'm going to close this show out here. I hope you enjoyed today's show, and tune in this weekend. I'm going to have a special edition this Saturday and Sunday for my mega shows for Saturday and Sunday. You can also listen to past episodes on all major platforms such as Spotify, Google, Apple. The list goes on, folks. Anywhere you hear a podcast, I'm on it. You can also hear past and present podcasts as well on those platforms. You can also hear past and present episodes on my Facebook page at The Kitchen Angle. With that being said, folks, thank you very much for joining in. And as always, we hope to see you on the next one. Thanks a lot, guys. You just heard an episode of The Kitchen Angle Show, an Anchor podcast.